we're going to pull back the curtain on the hidden engine that runs our digital world. It's a system that's not just watching you, it's actually designed to shape who you are and who you become.
You know that feeling, right? It often starts with something really small. You're scrolling and an ad or a post pops up that gives you this warm, fuzzy feeling of nostalgia. Maybe it's for those sugary breakfast cereals you ate as a kid. Well, what if I told you that feeling is no accident? Our sources today argue it's actually the front door to a massive, complex system where that very nostalgia is being manufactured and then sold.
And that system has a name: surveillance capitalism. So what is it? Well, think of it like this. It's a new kind of economy that looks at our human experience, every click, every like, every private conversation, even the moments you hesitate before typing, and treats it like a free, natural resource, something to be mined. And that raw material, it gets refined into data that's used not just to predict what you'll do next, but to control it.
Okay, Section 1, the attention merchants. So how on earth did we get here? To really get it, we have to rewind and look at where this whole business model came from.
You've heard this a million times, right? If you're not paying for the product, you are the product. It's basically the unofficial motto of the internet. But what's really wild is that this idea is way, way older than you think. It didn't start with your phone or your social media feed.
The story actually goes all the way back to 1835. There was a newspaper called the New York Sun, and to get a huge readership, they just made stuff up. They published these sensational, totally fake stories about finding life on the moon. And you know what? It worked. But in the process, they had this light bulb moment. They realized their real business wasn't selling news to readers. It was selling the readers' attention to advertisers. And today's tech giants, they are the direct descendants of that very same idea.
And they have scaled that model to a degree that is just mind-boggling. I mean, for companies like Google and Meta, a staggering 90% or more of their money comes from advertising. This isn't a side gig, it is the business. But here's the twist. They aren't just selling ad space anymore. They're selling something much, much more valuable.
Which brings us to Section 2, behavioral engineering. This is the absolute core of what we're talking about today. It's no longer just about predicting what you're going to do, it's about actively making sure you do it.
So let's be super clear here. The real product being bought and sold isn't your data. It's certainty. It's a guaranteed outcome for an advertiser. The actual product is the power to modify and direct what you do, what you think, and ultimately what you buy.
Here's the difference, and it's a huge one. Prediction is using data to guess that you might be in the market for new running shoes. Direction, on the other hand, is using that data to ensure you buy their specific running shoes right now by creating a perfectly tailored path of influence just for you. That jump from guessing to guaranteeing, from prediction to direction, that's the secret sauce of surveillance capitalism. Okay, Section 3, mind games. So how do they actually do this? How do they engineer our behavior? Well, it's not magic. It's a cold, hard science, and it's based on exploiting the predictable little glitches in the way our brains work. See, our brains are built for efficiency. To get through the day, we rely on all these mental shortcuts to make quick decisions. But these shortcuts have bugs in the code, predictable errors in judgment that we call cognitive biases. And according to our sources, the entire industry of digital marketing has become a giant playbook of techniques designed to find and exploit these bugs in our human operating system.
Here is a perfect example you see every single day: the anchoring effect. Our brains tend to latch onto the very first piece of information we see. So when a website shows you an item that used to be $1,000, your brain is now anchored to that price. So the sale price of $500 feels like an incredible bargain, even if the real value of the item is maybe only $400. That first number completely changes your perception of value. Or how about this one, the scarcity principle? All those little messages like only 2 rooms left or 5 other people are looking at this right now. They're designed to trigger our fear of missing out, our FOMO. It creates a false sense of urgency. All of a sudden, you're not buying something because you really want it. You're buying it because you're afraid of losing the chance. Your decision is driven by manufactured panic, not by rational thought. And then there's maybe the most powerful exploit of all, the status quo bias. We are creatures of habit. We just prefer to leave things the way they are. Tech companies know this. An insane 95% of people never change the default settings on an app. So what do the companies do? They make the defaults serve their interests.
maximum data collection, all notifications turned on, because they are literally betting that you won't bother to change them.
So, Section 4, the price of free. Now, the classic defense for all of this is that it's just a fair trade for all the amazing free stuff we get. But is it really? Our sources lay out a pretty powerful argument against that idea.
So let's just ask the question head on. Is this a fair deal? We get these unbelievable tools that connect us to the world for free, and in exchange, they show us some ads. I mean, what's the real problem? Well, the problem, according to our sources, is a hidden 3-step process that is specifically designed to undermine our ability to make our own choices.
They call it the autonomy trap. Step 1 is addiction. Features like the infinite scroll or the like button are basically engineered like slot machines, giving us just enough of a reward at unpredictable times to keep us hooked. Step 2 is surveillance. Every single thing you do, how long you look at a picture, the way you type, becomes data exhaust. It's all collected to build this scarily accurate profile of your personality, your habits, and your vulnerabilities, which leads to Step 3, manipulation. They use that profile to subtly nudge you, to guide you down pathways that make them money, slowly but surely eroding your own autonomy. And that brings us to the final and most radical argument in the source material, which is in Section 5, digital serfdom. The idea here is that this isn't just a bad business model. It might be a new form of servitude that ought to be illegal. To make this point, the source draws a really shocking parallel from history. They compare the terms of service agreements we all click on without reading to the peonage contracts that popped up in the American South right after the Civil War. I know, it's a bold and pretty unsettling comparison. But here's the logic. Peonage contracts were, on paper, voluntary. Workers would sign on to pay off a debt. But the system was rigged to make that debt impossible to ever pay off, trapping them in a lifetime of forced labor. Eventually, the courts declared these contracts illegal, not because of some legal technicality, but because they violated a basic, inalienable human right to freedom, a right you simply cannot sign away. The argument is that today's terms of service are a kind of digital peonage, where we voluntarily sign away our right to a free mind. And this has given rise to a whole new vocabulary to describe this relationship. Words like digital peonage, digital serfdom, even sharecropping. The idea is that we are like tenant farmers on a massive digital plantation. We do all the work, we create the content, we provide the data, and the landlords of the platform get to harvest all the profit. And this all leads to the final, ultimate conclusion. This whole system is doing more than just predicting our behavior. It's actually creating what some are calling algorithmic identities. By constantly nudging us, shaping our choices, and reinforcing certain desires, these platforms are actively participating in the construction of our very selves. So we started with a simple feeling about breakfast cereal, and we've ended up here with this incredibly deep question about what it means to be free. If the digital world we all live in is designed not just to serve us, but to actively shape us for someone else's profit, then what does it really mean to be human in the age of surveillance capitalism?